There is a kind of beauty that cannot be captured by a camera, filtered by an app, or measured by the standards of the world. It is quiet, almost invisible to the eye, yet deeply felt by those who come into contact with it. This beauty does not demand attention, yet it naturally attracts it. It is the kind of presence that brings peace into a room, the kind of energy that makes people feel seen, safe, and understood. This is spiritual beauty, and it grows from within. In a world that constantly teaches us to focus on outward appearance, there is a deeper truth waiting to be rediscovered. The most radiant people are not always the ones with perfect features, but the ones with aligned souls. Their strength comes from habits, small daily choices that shape their spirit, refine their character, and elevate their presence. Today we explore 9 spiritual habits that quietly, yet powerfully, make you more beautiful from the inside out. Practicing gratitude daily. Gratitude shifts your entire energy in ways that are both subtle and profound, often before you even realize what is happening within you. When you begin to intentionally appreciate what you have, instead of constantly focusing on what you lack, something deep inside your spirit begins to soften and expand. It is as though a tension you didn't even know you were carrying starts to melt away. Your face naturally relaxes, the tightness in your expressions fades, and your words begin to carry a gentler, more thoughtful tone. Your presence becomes lighter, calmer, and more welcoming. A grateful person carries a glow that cannot be artificially created or imitated. It is not something that comes from external beauty or material possessions, but from a deep sense of contentment and inner peace. This kind of glow is magnetic because it feels real, grounded, and sincere. When you practice gratitude daily, you train your mind to shift its focus. Instead of scanning your life for what is missing or imperfect, your awareness begins to settle on what is already good, already working, already meaningful. This mental shift is powerful because your thoughts shape your emotional state, and your emotional state shapes your outward expression. Over time, gratitude rewires your perspective so that even small things, like a kind word, a quiet moment, or a simple blessing, begin to feel significant and worthy of appreciation. This awareness of beauty in the ordinary transforms the way you see the world, and in doing so, it transforms the way the world sees you. Gratitude also has a way of anchoring you in the present moment. When you are grateful, you are not trapped in regrets about the past or anxieties about the future. You are fully present, fully aware, and fully alive in the now. This presence creates a sense of calm and stability that others can feel when they are around you. It makes your energy steady and reassuring, which naturally draws people toward you. There is a quiet confidence that develops in someone who practices gratitude regularly, not because everything is perfect, but because they have learned to find peace, regardless of circumstances. Additionally, gratitude deepens your emotional resilience. Life will always have challenges, disappointments, and uncertainties, but a grateful heart is better equipped to navigate these difficulties without becoming overwhelmed. Instead of being consumed by negativity, you develop the ability to hold both pain and appreciation at the same time. This balance allows you to remain open, hopeful, and grounded even in hard moments. It is this emotional strength, combined with softness, that creates a unique and captivating beauty. Ultimately, practicing gratitude daily transforms you from the inside out. It refines your thoughts, softens your heart, and elevates your spirit. As you begin to see beauty everywhere, you naturally become a reflection of that beauty. People may not always be able to explain what draws them to you, but they will feel it. An authentic, radiant presence that comes from a heart that has learned to be thankful. 2. Speaking life and kindness. Words carry immense power, far more than we often realize in our daily interactions. Every word you speak has the potential to build or to break, to heal or to wound, to uplift or to discourage. When you intentionally choose to speak life, words filled with encouragement, hope, truth, and kindness. You begin to shape not only the emotional environment around you, but also the condition of your own spirit. This conscious choice transforms your communication into something meaningful and impactful, rather than careless or reactive. Over time, your words begin to reflect the state of your heart, and as your heart becomes more compassionate, your speech naturally follows. People who consistently speak gently and truthfully develop a kind of magnetic warmth that cannot be ignored. Their voices feel safe, comforting, and reassuring, like a place where others can rest without fear of judgment or harm. There is a softness in their tone, a sincerity in their expressions, and an authenticity in their intentions that people instinctively trust. This does not mean they avoid honesty or difficult conversations, but rather that they deliver truth with grace and understanding. That balance between honesty and kindness is rare, and it is deeply attractive because it reflects emotional maturity and inner peace. Speaking life also has a powerful effect on your inner dialogue. The way you speak to others eventually becomes the way you speak to yourself. If your words are harsh, critical, or negative, that same tone will begin to echo within your own mind. But when you make it a habit to speak kindly and encouragingly, you begin to reshape your internal voice into one that is supportive and compassionate. This shift is transformative because your inner dialogue influences your confidence, your decisions, and your overall well-being. A person who is kind to themselves radiates a different kind of energy, one that is calm, secure, and deeply attractive. Furthermore, your words create an atmosphere. When you consistently speak life, you become someone who brings light into conversations and situations. People begin to associate your presence with positivity, encouragement, and peace. They feel uplifted after interacting with you, even if they cannot fully explain why. This ability to elevate others through your words is a powerful form of beauty because it goes beyond appearance. It touches the soul. It is also important to recognize that speaking life requires intention and discipline. In moments of frustration, anger, or hurt, it can be easy to react impulsively with words that cause harm. However, choosing kindness in those moments demonstrates strength, self-control, and emotional intelligence. It shows that you are not controlled by your emotions, but are instead guided by your values. In the long run, the habit of speaking life and kindness transforms your relationships, your self-perception, and your overall presence. It softens your spirit, strengthens your connections, and makes you a source of light in the lives of others. That kind of presence is not only beautiful, it is unforgettable. 3. Embracing stillness and silence. In a world that is constantly filled with noise, distractions, and endless activity, choosing stillness is both rare and incredibly powerful. Most people move through life without ever truly pausing, constantly surrounded by external input that pulls their attention in every direction. But when you intentionally make time to sit in silence, to reflect, to pray, or simply to breathe, you create space to reconnect with your inner self. This practice is not about doing more, but about allowing yourself to be, and in that being, something profound begins to happen within you. Stillness allows you to hear what is often drowned out by noise. The quiet voice of your intuition, your thoughts, your emotions, and your deeper sense of purpose. When you sit in silence, you begin to notice patterns in your thinking, unresolved feelings, and areas of your life that need attention or healing. This awareness is the first step toward growth because you cannot change what you do not understand. Over time, this practice brings clarity, helping you make decisions that are aligned with your values rather than driven by pressure or impulse. There is also a deep sense of calm that comes from embracing stillness. As you allow your mind to slow down and your body to relax, you begin to release tension and stress that may have been building unnoticed. This calmness is not just internal, it radiates outward, influencing how you carry yourself and how others perceive you. A person who is at peace within does not need to seek validation or attention because their sense of worth is not dependent on external approval. This quiet confidence is incredibly attractive because it feels grounded and authentic. Stillness also strengthens your emotional resilience. When you regularly take time to be present with yourself, you become more aware of your emotions without being overwhelmed by them. You learn to observe your feelings rather than react impulsively, which gives you greater control over your responses. This emotional balance makes your presence feel stable and reassuring to others, creating a sense of trust and comfort. Moreover, embracing silence allows you to deepen your spiritual connection. Whether through prayer, meditation, or simple reflection, these moments of quiet create an opportunity to align with something greater than yourself. This alignment brings a sense of purpose and meaning that cannot be found in constant activity or distraction. Ultimately, stillness refines your spirit. It strips away unnecessary noise and allows your true self to emerge. This refinement is subtle but powerful. It shows in your demeanor, your decisions, and your interactions. You become more intentional, more present, and more aware. And in that awareness, you develop a kind of beauty that is calm, centered, and deeply captivating. 4. Letting go of resentment. Holding on to anger, bitterness, and resentment can weigh heavily on the soul in ways that are often invisible but deeply damaging. These emotions do not simply stay contained within your mind. They influence your thoughts, your reactions, your relationships, and even your physical presence. Over time, unresolved resentment can harden your heart, making it more difficult to experience joy, trust, and genuine connection. It creates an internal tension that subtly affects the way you speak, the way you look at others, and the way you carry yourself. This weight dims your light, not because you are lacking in goodness, but because your spirit is burdened. Choosing to let go of resentment is not always easy, especially when the pain you have experienced feels justified. Forgiveness is often misunderstood as excusing harmful behavior or pretending that nothing happened. In reality, forgiveness is about freeing yourself from the emotional grip of that pain. It is a decision to release the hold that past hurt has on your present life. When you forgive, you are not doing it for the other person. You are doing it for your own peace, your own healing, and your own freedom. There is a profound transformation that occurs when you begin to let go of resentment. The heaviness you have been carrying starts to lift, creating space for lighter, more positive emotions to take its place. Your heart begins to soften, allowing you to experience compassion, empathy, and understanding once again. This softness is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strength. It takes courage to remain open and loving in a world where hurt is inevitable. Letting go also restores your ability to experience joy fully. When you are consumed by bitterness, even good moments can feel overshadowed by lingering negativity. But when you release that bitterness, you allow yourself to be present and appreciative of the positive aspects of your life. This shift enhances your overall energy, making your presence feel lighter, more peaceful, and more inviting. There is a unique and undeniable beauty in someone who has experienced pain but chooses healing over hatred. This kind of beauty is not superficial. It is rooted in resilience, growth, and emotional depth. People can sense this strength, even if they cannot articulate it. It shows in your patience, your understanding, and your ability to respond with grace rather than react with anger. Ultimately, letting go of resentment transforms your inner world, and that transformation reflects outward. It allows your true light to shine without being overshadowed by past pain. This kind of emotional freedom is not only healing, it is deeply attractive and unforgettable. 5. Serving others selflessly. True beauty is most clearly revealed not in how you present yourself, but in how you treat others, especially in moments when there is nothing to gain. Acts of service, whether small or significant, reflect the condition of your heart. When you choose to help others without seeking recognition, validation, or reward, you cultivate a spirit of humility and genuine care. This kind of selflessness is rare in a world that often emphasizes personal gain and recognition, and it carries a quiet power that people can feel immediately. Serving others shifts your focus away from yourself and toward the needs of those around you. This shift is transformative because it expands your perspective, allowing you to see beyond your own experiences and challenges. You begin to develop a deeper sense of empathy, understanding that everyone is carrying their own struggles, even if they are not visible. This awareness softens your judgments and increases your compassion, making your interactions more thoughtful and meaningful. There is also a sense of fulfillment that comes from serving others. Unlike temporary satisfaction that comes from external achievements or recognition, the fulfillment of helping someone else is deeper and more lasting. It creates a sense of purpose and connection that enriches your life in ways that cannot be measured. This fulfillment reflects in your demeanor, giving you a sense of quiet confidence and contentment that enhances your overall presence. Selfless service also strengthens your character. It teaches patience, generosity, and resilience, especially when your efforts are not immediately acknowledged or appreciated. Choosing to continue serving despite this requires a level of inner strength and sincerity that is deeply admirable. It shows that your actions are guided by your values rather than external validation. People are naturally drawn to those who serve others with a genuine heart. There is something comforting and inspiring about being around someone who consistently shows kindness and generosity without expecting anything in return. Your presence becomes a source of support and encouragement, creating a positive impact on those around you. Ultimately, serving others selflessly polishes your soul. It refines your character, deepens your compassion, and elevates your spirit. This refinement creates a kind of beauty that goes beyond appearance. It is felt, experienced, and remembered. It is the kind of beauty that leaves a lasting impression, not because of what you have, but because of who you are. 6. Protecting your energy. Not every space deserves your presence, and not every voice deserves your attention. Spiritually beautiful people come to understand this truth not out of pride or isolation, but out of wisdom and self-awareness. Your energy is one of your most valuable resources. It influences your thoughts, your emotions, your decisions, and ultimately the quality of your life. When you allow yourself to be constantly exposed to negativity, chaos, or draining environments, it begins to affect your inner state in ways that are often subtle but deeply impactful. Over time, this exposure can create emotional exhaustion, confusion, and a loss of clarity. Protecting your energy begins with awareness. You start to notice which environments uplift you and which ones deplete you. You become mindful of the conversations you engage in, the content you consume, and the people you surround yourself with. This awareness is not about judging others, but about recognizing what aligns with your values and what does not. It requires honesty with yourself and the courage to make changes when something no longer serves your well-being. Setting boundaries is a key part of protecting your energy. Boundaries are not walls meant to keep people out. They are guidelines that define what is healthy and acceptable for you. They allow you to maintain your peace without completely withdrawing from the world. For example, choosing not to gossip, limiting time in toxic environments, or stepping back from relationships that consistently drain you are all forms of self-respect. These decisions may not always be easy, especially when they involve people you care about, but they are necessary for maintaining your inner balance. When you protect your energy, you create space for peace, clarity, and positivity to grow. Your mind becomes less cluttered, your emotions become more stable, and your decisions become more intentional. This inner balance reflects outward, giving you a presence that feels calm, grounded, and centered. People are naturally drawn to this kind of energy because it feels safe and steady in a world that often feels unpredictable. There is also a sense of self-worth that develops when you prioritize your energy. You begin to recognize that your peace is valuable and worth protecting. This realization strengthens your confidence, not in a loud or boastful way, but in a quiet and assured manner. You no longer feel the need to please everyone or to be everywhere. You are selective, intentional, and grounded in your choices. Ultimately, protecting your energy allows your spirit to remain pure and aligned. It prevents external negativity from overshadowing your inner light. This clarity and steadiness create a kind of beauty that is deeply attractive because it reflects self-awareness, discipline, and inner peace. It is the beauty of someone who knows their worth and chooses to honor it. 7. Living in alignment with your values. There is something undeniably powerful and beautiful about a person who lives authentically, someone whose actions consistently reflect their beliefs and values. In a world where many people feel pressured to conform, to perform, or to seek approval, choosing to live in alignment with your values requires courage and self-awareness. It means understanding what truly matters to you and making decisions that reflect that understanding, even when it is not the easiest path. Living in alignment begins with clarity. You must first take the time to define your values, what you stand for, what you believe in, and what principles guide your life. These values may include honesty, kindness, integrity, faith, growth, or compassion. Once you are clear on these, they become your internal compass, guiding your choices and actions. This clarity reduces confusion and internal conflict, because you are no longer making decisions based on external pressure or temporary emotions. When your actions align with your values, you develop integrity. Integrity is the foundation of trust, not only in how others perceive you, but in how you perceive yourself. It creates a sense of inner stability because you know that you are living in truth. This stability enhances your confidence, allowing you to move through life with a sense of purpose and direction. You no longer feel the need to pretend or to fit into roles that do not resonate with your true self. Authenticity also fosters deeper connections with others. When you are genuine, people can sense it. They feel more comfortable being themselves around you because your presence does not demand perfection or pretense. This creates relationships that are based on honesty and mutual respect rather than superficial appearances. People are naturally drawn to authenticity because it is rare and refreshing. Living in alignment also requires discipline. There will be moments when you are tempted to compromise your values for convenience, approval, or short-term gain. Choosing to stay true to yourself in those moments demonstrates strength and self-respect. It shows that your values are not just words, but principles that you are committed to living by. This alignment has a visible impact on your presence. It shows in your posture, your tone, and your decisions. There is a quiet confidence that comes from knowing who you are and standing firmly in that truth. This confidence is not rooted in arrogance, but in authenticity and self-acceptance. Ultimately, living in alignment with your values creates a life that feels meaningful and fulfilling. It allows you to move through the world with clarity, purpose, and integrity. This kind of authenticity is deeply attractive because it reflects a person who is grounded, self-aware, and true to themselves. Choosing joy. Choosing joy despite circumstances. Joy is often misunderstood as something that depends on external conditions, a result of success, comfort, or the absence of problems. However, true joy goes much deeper than that. It is not the absence of difficulties, but the presence of perspective. Choosing joy means deciding to focus on hope, gratitude, and meaning, even when life is not going as planned. It is a conscious choice to rise above circumstances rather than be defined by them. Life will inevitably bring challenges, disappointments, and moments of pain. These experiences are part of the human journey, and they cannot always be avoided. However, how you respond to them makes all the difference. Choosing joy does not mean ignoring your struggles or pretending that everything is perfect. It means acknowledging your pain while refusing to let it control your mindset or your identity. This balance requires emotional strength and resilience. Joyful people develop the ability to find light even in dark moments. They look for lessons in challenges, growth in discomfort, and opportunities in setbacks. This perspective transforms obstacles into stepping stones rather than barriers. It allows them to maintain hope and optimism, even when circumstances are uncertain. There is also a sense of freedom that comes with choosing joy. When your happiness is not dependent on external factors, you are no longer controlled by them. You are able to experience peace and contentment regardless of what is happening around you. This independence creates a stable and uplifting presence that others find comforting and inspiring. Joy is also contagious. When you choose to carry a positive and hopeful energy, it influences those around you. Your attitude can uplift others, bringing light into situations that may feel heavy or overwhelming. People are naturally drawn to those who radiate joy because it creates a sense of warmth and encouragement. At the same time, choosing joy requires intention. It is not always the easiest choice, especially in difficult moments. It requires you to shift your focus, to challenge negative thoughts, and to consciously choose a more empowering perspective. This effort builds emotional resilience over time, strengthening your ability to navigate life's ups and downs. Ultimately, joy is a reflection of inner strength and faith. It is the ability to remain hopeful, grateful, and present despite challenges. This kind of joy creates a light within you that cannot be easily dimmed. It is a beauty that radiates from within, uplifting both you and those around you. 9. Cultivating a deep connection with God. At the center of true spiritual beauty is a deep and personal relationship with God. This connection is not about rituals alone or outward expressions of faith, but about an ongoing, intimate relationship that shapes your heart, your thoughts, and your actions. When you spend time in prayer, reflection, and devotion, you create space for divine influence in your life. This influence gradually transforms you from the inside out, aligning you with qualities that reflect God's nature: love, patience, grace, wisdom, and compassion. Developing this connection requires consistency and intention. Just like any meaningful relationship, it grows stronger through regular communication and presence. Prayer becomes more than a routine. It becomes a conversation, a moment of honesty, gratitude, and surrender. Reflection allows you to examine your life, to seek guidance, and to align your decisions with a higher purpose. These practices create a foundation of faith that supports you through both joyful and challenging moments. As your connection with God deepens, you begin to experience a sense of peace that goes beyond understanding. This peace is not dependent on external circumstances. It comes from trusting that you are guided, supported, and loved. It brings a calmness to your spirit, allowing you to navigate life with confidence and assurance. This inner peace reflects outward, creating a presence that feels gentle, grounded, and reassuring. A strong spiritual connection also shapes your character. You become more patient in difficult situations, more forgiving toward others, and more compassionate in your interactions. These qualities are not forced. They naturally develop as a result of your alignment with divine principles. This transformation is subtle but powerful, influencing how you think, speak, and act. There is also a sense of purpose that comes from being connected to God. You begin to see your life as part of a greater plan, which gives meaning to your experiences. Even challenges take on a different perspective, as opportunities for growth and faith rather than obstacles. Ultimately, there is no greater beauty than a soul aligned with the divine. It is a beauty that radiates peace, love, and authenticity. It is not dependent on appearance or circumstance, but on the condition of the heart. When you cultivate a deep connection with God, your life becomes a reflection of that connection, bringing light, hope, and inspiration to those around you. Spiritual beauty is not something you chase. It is something you become through daily habits and intentional living. As you practice gratitude, speak kindness, embrace stillness, forgive freely, serve others, protect your energy, live authentically, choose joy, and deepen your connection with God, you will notice a transformation, not just in how others see you, but in how you feel about yourself. You will carry a quiet confidence, a gentle strength, and a radiant peace that no external standard can replicate. If this message reached you at exactly the right moment, if something in your spirit resonated deeply, take a moment to subscribe and become part of this growing community. And in the comment section, type 1111 as a sign that you received this message at the time you needed it most, and as a declaration of divine alignment and blessings over your life.